Okay, number 4 is another dream car I had in high school. This is something I always daydreamed about. I still do to this day. Hummer H1. My next small purchase is going to be a Suburban just because they're so cheap. I plan on getting a 4-wheel drive Suburban really soon, and if I enjoy the off-roading subculture, I'm going to get a Hummer H1 for sure. It's not really a vehicle that, you should take to the mall or to Vaughn's. It's just not made for that. It's made for off-roading. And if I don't enjoy off-roading, it's really not a vehicle I should buy. It's kind of a waste of time. But an interesting thing about the civilian model, it still has the helicopter extraction hooks on it. So, if you are one of those people that buy it and you want to take it to the mall, the cool thing is if you get stuck at a parking lot, you could call up on a helicopter to pick your ass up and fly you out of the mall. If you get stuck, whatever. You have fun with that. But when I first discovered internet, I looked up DeLoreans a lot, and Hummer H1s. I remember finding a picture on the internet of a Hummer H1 going through a brick wall, and there was barely any damage on the thing, and I thought that was cool. I was in high school. I still think it's cool now, because I'm a kid at heart. But just like the Viper, it's a vehicle that's super affordable nowadays. It's attainable now. You gotta just buckle down and save a little cash. Well, if you're rich, you don't, but if you're an average guy, you could still afford one. If you're average like me, just save a little cash and you'll be able to buy one. So yeah, this was always in my dream garage. It's always what I envisioned having, and hopefully one day I'll own one. I plan on it. We'll see what happens. Alright, number 3, ZR1 Corvette. I really don't need to talk about the specs on this thing. There are a million videos on YouTube, so I will bring up one thing. There's one more subcategory I made up. I call it the security blanket car. And what that means is, first of all, you got your guys who are domestic fanboys and import car fanboys. Like, those guys will not like anything else. They're like, their heads are stuck on liking either imports or domestics. They're not open-minded. So here's what happens. Let's say you got a guy with like a really super fast Mitsubishi Eclipse. Like, he's a car guy and he's just trying to show YouTube his car because he has a very nice car. Sometimes you'll get your domestic troll on there saying, "Oh, your car's a piece of shit, ZR1's faster." Or the other way around, some guy will have a very cool Camaro or something to show on YouTube, and some import car fanboy will say, "Oh, your car's a piece of shit, GTR rules." That's what I call a security blanket car. These guys probably drive Toyota Tercels, and the domestic guys coming in and talking smack probably drive like, a 1984 Cavalier or something. They're just hating on people, trying to show their pride, trying to show their nice cars on YouTube. And in a way that demonstrates how good a car is. That demonstrates a Nissan GTR is a great car because, import fanboys will use it as a security blanket car, and, ZR1. Guys who like just domestics will use the ZR1, to feel better about themselves. So, if that just demonstrates how great a car is. So I kind of made that term up, security blanket car. Cars people mention to troll on your page, but they don't actually own it, and probably never will own one. That being said, if I won the lottery, the first car I would buy is a ZR1. I'm not a domestic troll. I don't bash on. I like everybody's car. I just like ZR1s. It's just unfortunate that it's become a security blanket car. It's a car that people hate on, people love on it, just because it's so good, and if something's really good, people are going to hate on it, and that's the facts. How many comments do you see bagging on the GTR or bagging on the ZR1? It's just people who are jealous and haters. Don't hate, appreciate, So I appreciate the ZR1, and that's why if I won the lottery, that's the first thing I would buy. I would cash out my lotto ticket and buy a ZR1 the first day I won the lottery. I would buy 2 of them, because I'll probably end up crashing the first one, and if I don't die, I'll at least have a second one to drive. Okay, number 2 is the car that dethroned the DeLorean from 7th to 10th grade. My dream car was a DeLorean, and that all changed in 1997. I wanted a C5 Corvette when it first came out. I just love the thing. This is a car I obsessed about for 12 years. I finally got one 5 months ago or so, and it was a 12-year wait. I love this car so much. Let's backtrack a little bit. You know, when I always appreciated cars, and I would always go to like the auto shows. I would sit in everything, Vipers, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, but I would refuse to sit in a Corvette. My friends would always say, hey, why don't you sit in the Corvette? I'm like, no, I'm going to like it too much, and then I'm going to feel bad, and I know I'm not going to have one for a very long time. So I actually sat in one for the first time last year, because my friend was buying a car, and we were waiting for the finance people to hurry up. So we were bored, and there was a Corvette sitting there, a C5, and I finally gave in and sat in it. It was a big mistake. I lost sleep for a year thinking about it, so I just buckled down and worked the overtime, and I finally got one. And you know, it was a dream come true. I was no disappointments at all. When I test drove a Corvette for the first time, that was actually my first time driving one, and I fell in love. And it's a great car to have. It's the most fun you could have with your fucking clothes on, you know. I just drive it for the sake of driving. Just drive it to drive somewhere. And you know, it was a 12-year wait, so it was really sweet when I finally got one. And this has been my ultimate dream car for 12 years. And the thing is, if Corvettes didn't exist, I really don't know what I would buy as a sports car. Maybe a GTO, maybe a Viper, but see, there's that indecisiveness in there. But my mind was always set on a C5. And that's why it's number 2. And I think it's the most fun you could have with your clothes on. And I'm always going to feel that way. But if I'm saying all this praise about it, what could possibly dethrone it? Here's the anticlimactic ending to my list. Number 1, Buick Regal GS. Now, you're pressing what? But you know what? I think the guys who are into cars, my friends that I talk to who are car enthusiasts, who earned everything they ever owned, I think they're going to understand my pick. I'm a guy, you know, I wasn't rich. My parents weren't rich, but they weren't poor either. But I was never handed a nice car. I wasn't one of those kids that were handed a BMW 3 Series. So I got to appreciate cars. And before I got a Buick Regal, I was used to cars that were running 18s and 17s in the quarter mile, and this is a car that ran 14 stock, so I was blown away. It was amazing. I've had this car for about 4 years now, and it's never let me down. You know, it's a lot of sentimental value. If you look at my YouTube videos, I've worked a lot on this car, you know, lots of videos on it. You know, it's not as fast as the Corvette, but you know, as you get older, you know, and start from the bottom a little bit, you appreciate that overall package. And even though it's not as fast as a Corvette, it's still fast enough for me. I've never driven it and said, damn, I wish this thing had more power. You know, it's never let me down. I look forward to driving it every day still. You know, Supercharger sounds badass to me. It's just a great car. It's been a great car. It's been a good friend to me. I know that sounds weird, but you know, you car guys will understand that. So, you know, a lot of people that I talk to who are car guys, they'll mention like cars that are obscure that are their favorite cars of all time just because of the sentimental value in it. You know, how many guys have like their favorite car of all time is like a Lumina or a Monte Carlo? It's just because they put their hearts into it. And this Buick Regal was my first taste of having some power, you know. And believe it or not, this was another dream car I had in high school. I didn't obsess over it like having a Corvette, but it was in the back of my mind one of the cars I wanted. And this was the first of my dream cars that I actually got to obtain. I bought it 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, for about $6,000. So it was the first dream car I got to buy. You know, and it's a sleeper. How many times did I say on my list I'm into sleepers, and this is a sleeper. You know, it's been good to me, and you know, it's my favorite car of all time. You know, it's the overall package. I said the Corvette's the most fun you could have, but this thing has a combination of everything. You know, I don't worry about it getting stolen. I don't worry about anybody keying it up. It's comfortable. It could get 30 miles a gallon if you drive sanely. So it's the complete overall package. And that's why it's my favorite car of all time.